Okay, I had another long bath session and I was just thinking about lots of stuff again. And my favorite type of show, okay, other than car chases and seeing police sirens, woo, woo, I love that. But other than that, yeah, I really love the idea of psychology programs based on things that I'm doing or stuff like. In Big Brother, they did have a session where they would like test, like I don't know, it was like a sideshow or something, and they had these tests where they would test people's reactions and you know, they would show something in the house and then they would get people's reactions. And I really, really love those shows. And I was just thinking of some other things like this is only going to happen once. It's not going to be able to happen again. You're never going to be able to do this test. But some people's psychology is just like mental and I don't understand it. And I would love for people to film like the psychologists. They couldn't help me before because if I would have gone to any psychologist and said I'm God and I want to kill myself, most would have just put me in a mental hospital, not thought anything more of it, not helped me in any way, and the people in the mental hospital wouldn't have helped me anyway. Either way, they wouldn't have helped me. But come to think about it, you know, I was thinking about that in the bath, and I was just thinking, actually, if I did tell someone that I'm God and I want to kill myself, then probably mental hospital probably is actually a smart place to go because of that. And then I was thinking, wait, actually, the Big Brother house is a bit like a mental home because you have all these interesting characters in one place, and you can't leave. That's kind of the point of the game. And also you can't really kill yourself. It's a lot harder to kill yourself. And I was also thinking it's the little things that I love. And then of course I was thinking of a knife. But anyway, yeah, I didn't. The worst 10 days out of the whole thing was 100% when I went to get some help or just to talk to people about my belief. I'd got like 3-page evidence of a long list of all the things that connect to my name, and I was just like, you know, what is this? This is something spiritual. Something's pointing to me. Something's, you know, there was a lot more going on, but I couldn't really say that. You know, if I'm saying that I'm thinking things in my head and people are walking past and saying things that seem to match with things that I'm saying in my head. You know, if I tell anyone that, any psychologist that, they would think that I was crazy and they wouldn't believe me. They would just think that I'm making things up or something. And that wasn't, that was literally happening all the time. Or I was saying, I can't be God. And then someone would walk past saying, of course you can. And then I'd listen in on the conversation and it would just be completely different to what that sentence was that he just said. Things like that were happening a lot. And it was really, really creepy. You know, I love the TV. I really believe that I would only come to Earth if there was a TV, and I think I'm actually right because at the time I came when I was, you know, 3 years old, when my soul sort of started awakening, that was when the average person was getting TVs inside their home and stuff. So, yeah, but yeah, for the first 3 years, I didn't have a TV, and I deliberately didn't have a TV. Why? Because a couple of times that I turned the TV on, like I'd flip through the channels and it would literally put all the words together and form a sentence. That happened, and that was freaking scary. And there was things where I'd have a conversation with someone and then go back into the home, turn the TV on, and it would almost like finish off the conversation. Whoa, that was, you know, there was just some really strange things happening. And because of that, I didn't want a TV for 2 years. But yeah, if I would have gone to any psychologist and told them this, they would have thought that I was crazy and wouldn't have listened, and they wouldn't have cared either. They would have just thought, oh, it's a mental case. Anyway, let's go back to the original topic. The topic I was talking about was other people's psychology. I don't understand other people's psychology. You know, like if I say I'm God and I'm trying to show my nicer side or the better side, you know, why would you think that I, you know, if you think that I'm like Beyonce, why would you think that I'm like her? Or what's your reasoning behind it? Or if you think I'm like Lana Del Rey, and you know, you can show a song and you can think, you know, how would you feel if you went through this? And do you think she really went through this? And you know, just general questions. I would love to put people on the spot, but I'm not actually me. It would have to be other people that do it. But yeah, to put people on the spot and do psychology programs. Okay, you couldn't help me before, but you probably could now, by understanding human psychology and what people are thinking, why they're thinking what they're thinking, um, or if there is some sort of, you know, gang rape video of me or whatever, you know, find people who generally want to watch this and ask them, why do you want to watch this? is there an actual reason, or do they not know themselves, or I just don't know. It's very complicated, and I think that's why it would be good for some things to film, because maybe you could uncomplicate it and make it make sense in some way. But yeah, there's loads of different psychology questions that you could ask, and you could go through all the different characters and think, why do you think she would be like this? Or like, I don't think I'm any. If you knew me as a human in real life, you'd probably think that I'm nothing like Rihanna. And so if you do see me as a normal human, I think I'm like Rihanna, why do you think that? What have I said that makes you think that? And I'd love to question people about these things, because you know I think Rihanna and me are very, very similar, but only after years of kind of being tormented by people. And if she thought that I was like that a long, long time ago, why did she? Okay, she's slightly different because my higher self has been guiding all the people that are famous and are reaching out to others. So I feel like her reasoning is going to be more excusable than other people's, because my higher self, I think, is guiding the people at the top, the people, the most rich or most influential people. And I don't think she's necessarily touching the smaller people as much. So I would like to know what's the smaller people's reasoning behind what they're doing. There are loads of people in my life who seem to come and go, or laugh at me, or tell me what the other guy told me, which is that I belong in a first donor, that I belong in a mental hospital. And I am thinking of the reasons. And if I'm suicidal and God, then maybe I should be in a mental hospital, because that's not going to kill me. But I want to die, so but I'm not going to die. I mean, I don't think I'm going to kill myself, or I don't know yet, because I don't know the future. But I would like to know these questions. And I would like to know his question. Why do you think I need to be in a mental hospital? What makes you think that? I'm smart. You've seen the videos that I'm watching, and why don't you believe me? I don't understand it. I think it is different with people in my life, because I feel like my higher self is messing up my life, and it's also messing up people's lives who maybe are in my life. Although I've seen loads of clients who just come and go, and I don't think my higher self would bother to mess around with that. I think that's more just me needing some sort of job to keep myself a bit busy. But I don't know. I'd like answers to things that I don't have answers for.